Hello and welcome to the Docking Bay 77 podcast, YouTube edition. I am one of the hosts, Dayton Johnson. Welcome to another one of our top 7 hosts lists. Easier said than done. Anyway, those who follow the podcast know that I'm a big fan of rock music. Anything from classic rock from the 50s and 60s. Beatles are a big impact on me. The 70s, especially, a big fan of that. 80s, heavy metal. 90s. I'm a big fan of music. We do a lot of music episodes on the podcast. So for this particular top 7, I wanted to look at one of the bands that I grew to love much later in life. I was always familiar with Led Zeppelin when I was a kid, thanks to my brother, who was always listening to music ahead of my time. Thank you very much for that. And it was one of those that, of course, I heard him on the radio a lot. And at one point, I think in the early 90s, I did buy the greatest hits remaster compilation CD box set, one with all the crop circles on it. I did have that. But it wasn't until I started my record collection in the last 10 years where I really started diving into Led Zeppelin and each one of their albums. My goal was to acquire each one of their studio albums, and I have done that, with the exception of Coda. I still haven't decided on that one yet. I have listened to it, but I haven't added it to my collection. But anyway, so for this one, I wanted to do a top 7 songs from Led Zeppelin. Now, I built the list by going through each album and picking my favorite song off each one. Now, going into this, my number 1 and number 2 were pretty much well set. My number 1 actually appears on another list from the podcast from a couple of years ago. I really had to narrow it down to what my other 5 were going to be. So I had 15 songs I was working with, and after listening over and over again, I kind of was able to move things around and shuffle and kick some to what will end up on my honorable mentions list. So now the funny thing is, there are a lot of songs, a lot of very popular songs that are not on this list, mostly because classic rock radio made me a little tired of them. It doesn't mean they're not good songs. It doesn't mean I don't like them ultimately, but it means that these are songs that I wouldn't want to listen to over and over again because I'm a little tired of them. So for that, there's no Stairway on this list, no Rock and Roll, no Living Loving Maid, or A Whole Lot of Love. With that being said, what did make my list? Let's find out. Starting off number 7, and the longest song on my list, clocking in at 8 minutes 37 seconds, from their album Physical Graffiti, it is Kashmir. Now, we did do a full episode on the album Physical Graffiti. Go back through the stream and check that out. Inspired by a road trip through the Moroccan desert, not actual Kashmir itself. But anyway, the song is truly epic in every sense of the word. It feels like a road trip, like literally every time I get onto an interstate or a long straight highway especially, this song plays in my head. I hear the guitar, I hear the drum beat, and I start to tap my foot. Even if we're listening to something else, this song somehow manages to work its way in. The production is beautiful on here. I love that it does not have a typical arrangement like, the whole verse, chorus thing that goes on through a lot of rock songs, which isn't bad because, that it works for the most part. And also, I want to mention that a lot of the songs on my list have a tendency to avoid that traditional arrangement. But anyway, Kashmir is just a great, great song, truly epic, and it's probably the best song on Physical Graffiti. You can argue with me, a lot of people do. But this one is also one of those great songs that is fantastic loud, turn it up very much, but it also benefits from a good set of headphones. You can really hear the quality of the production on it for sure. So, moving on. Number 6. One of the heavier tracks on my list from their self-titled album from 1969, it is Communication Breakdown. This is the first of 2 of the hard rocking songs on my list. Love the straightforward rock edge that many bands after the fact that would, try to emulate, and it definitely inspired a whole generation of musicians for sure. Everyone sounds great on this song. The production is really crystal clear. You can actually hear everybody, from the bass to the drums, the vocals, the guitars, everything sounds great. And it is a great example of what a really, really good hard rock song can be and should be. And it's, like I said earlier in the very beginning, it is my favorite song off their debut album, off this album. Number 5, the first of 2 songs off my favorite album, All My Love, from the album Into the Outdoor from 1979. All My Love is a beautiful song inspired by the worst thing a parent should ever have to experience. Both Plant and Jones shine on this song, driven by keyboards and emotional vocals. The song follows the typical rock arrangement, which is okay because it definitely works for this touching song. It is absolutely a loving tribute to Plant's son. And this leads into another one of the reasons why I think I do love Into the Outdoor. It's because the whole album feels a little bit different than a lot of the other albums that came before this one. So this is a good example of what was going on with that album. And All My Love is just a beautiful song, a nice example of what a rock ballad could be, and another example of writing emotional and true and honest lyrics in a rock song. So All My Love is my number 5. Moving on. Number 4, The Ocean, from the album Houses of the Holy from 1973. Has one of my favorite riffs from Zeppelin on this song, and it kicks off the song and comes back in lieu of a chorus. Just absolutely love it. The drums sound very cool, and it's another one of the songs on my list that does not follow the traditional verse-chorus arrangement. The awesome riff it comes back over and over again. It sounds really good. The down, 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 just love it. For me, even though I'm a big fan of drummers and John Bonham, who I have so much more appreciation for in the recent years than I ever did growing up, even though the drums do sound good, I think Page actually wins this track. The guitar sounds great. The solo is really good. And overall, it's a really fun song written about the ocean, which was, what Plant was calling the Sea of Heads, or the Ocean of Heads he was singing to when they would go on tour. So fun little metaphor for a crowd full of people. Love it. For me, it's a fun song, hard rock song that never, never gets old, and which is actually why it's higher on the list than some of the other ones that might be a little bit better than it. But The Ocean is just a great, fun song that sounds awesome. Now, my number 3. This is a prototype for many heavy metal songs to come. Even though, technically speaking, Zeppelin kind of created the hard rock genre driven by the blues, this song definitely kind of leans into the heavy metal genre, which is fine. And it also has the best needle drop ever in any film. And of course, it is in Thor Ragnarok. It is the Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin 3. This song is perfect. Plant shows off his vocal chops with that wonderful scream. Page delivers another slick riff for sure. But where the song really shines is in the rhythm section. Johns and Bonham steal the track in my mind. Just listen to Bonham's kick drum. Oh my God, it's stellar. He's literally following the riff with that kick. I mean, one of the things that most of us know when we talk about Bonham is his ability to do triplets. That bass drum, that kick drum is just fantastic. And oh my God, as the verse builds up, listen to the bass, that bass riff that Jones lays down. Oh my God, it is awesome. Like I said, for this one, as great as the song is and as quickly as it is over, and how it builds towards a chorus that doesn't exist, which is awesome. For me, the rhythm section steals the song. Another one of the songs on the list that ignores that traditional arrangement. Love it. Absolutely love it. This song is awesome. Love this track. My number 2, off their most popular album, Led Zeppelin 4, or commonly known as Untitled, or Zovo, whatever you want to call it, from 1971, which used to be my favorite album, which is not anymore. It is When the Levee Breaks. This song, of course, was originally done by Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie. And then the band knew the song and decided they could update it, which they did. Plant did use some of the original lyrics, and Page did change some of the guitar work, and Memphis Minnie does actually get a songwriting credit on this album along with the rest of the band. The song epitomizes blues rock genre and would, of course, inspire many bands to come. Acts like Aerosmith and Cinderella definitely took this as a cue of what, a blues rock band could sound like. Everything about the song is awesome, but of course, it's Bonham's drums that steal this track for me and for many other people. They sound huge. Many drummers have been chasing that sound ever since this album came out, and for good reason. Love this song. Here's a quick list of my honorable mentions. Like I said, I had a list of 15 songs I had to narrow down. So these are the ones that almost made the cut. Ramble On, Going to California, that one was hard to cut. Achilles' Last Stand, Over the Hills and Far Away, and the often mispronounced, see, I'm going to mess it up now, Jamaica, which for years I was calling it Dire Maker because, I'm from America and we don't really know that what it's supposed to sound like. But Jamaica is how it sounds when you say it properly with the right accent. I'm sure I'll get complaints, but either way. Those are all the songs that were on my list that came close, but just not there. Now, my number one off the album that has taken over my favorite spot, Into the Outdoor, and this is the second song off that particular album. It is Fool in the Rain. Now, really quickly, why did Into the Outdoor take over my favorite spot from Led Zeppelin 4? 5-6 years ago, it was a no-brainer. Like many people, Led Zeppelin 4 is their favorite, or it's the great album from Zeppelin. Well, in recent years, I spent more time listening to this album, and I spent more time appreciating the often forgotten member of the band, John Paul Jones. It wasn't until I spent some time reading a couple biographies and things like that about the band that I realized how much he did for this album, and even with Plant helping with this album. At this point in recording process for Into the Outdoor, Bonham and Page were often absent for multiple reasons, I'm sure. And so Jones took what was given to him, the riffs and some stuff that was already written. He took it and he put together what I consider is a pretty solid album. A lot of people don't love it, but I really do enjoy the fact that it's a very keyboard-heavy album, which is fine because I think it really shows what John Paul Jones could do. And Plant brought his touch to it, giving us some truly great vocal work at the tail end of a strong run from a band that was coming to the end of their they're coming to the end of a run that shouldn't have ended when it did. But that's a discussion for another time. Anyway, the song made my list, and it was on my top 7 songs of the 70s list, and it's, like I said, my favorite Zeppelin song. I love everything about it. It has such a wonderful groove. The moment it comes on, you're already starting to move to it. I defy you to not tap your toe, to not move your head, to not move something along to this song. The samba breakdown in the middle is absolutely fantastic. Jimmy Page, the tone on his guitar is wonderful. Plant delivers a fun and moving vocal track, which is great. The song benefits from a decent set of headphones, like I mentioned before with Kashmir. This one does the same thing. The production on it is great. There's a lot of different layers going on in here that will definitely bring something pleasant and fun to your ear holes. Spend some time, do it both ways. It works loud, but I think it's one of those songs that's definitely better on headphones. Despite the album not being a huge success like many of the other that came before it, this song did actually reach number 21 in the Billboard Hot 100, and many critics also consider it, like me, to be the high point of the album. That's my list. 7 favorite songs from Led Zeppelin with a bunch of honorable mentions. So I hope you appreciate the list. What's on your list? Comment down below. Let us know what I got right, what I got wrong. What would your list look like? Also, for something of a top 7 you want to see one of our hosts discuss, drop it in the comments as well. We'll see if we can get it up there for you. Like the episode, like the video, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Our goal is to have 2 top 7s a month and 2 versus episodes where we take an original song and discuss a cover version of it. So do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you very much for spending some time with me and watching the video.